Okay, ladies, let's call a spade a spade. Really. Because most women aren't stuck because they don't know what they want. We know what we want. What we're stuck on is what happens when we actually get it. Yeah, I said it. The fear of success is just as real as the fear of failure. And if you don't believe me, let me break this all the way down. Specifically, fear of failure, right? So, we dream in our 20s and 30s, like, we'll go back to school. We'll do that career change that we've been trying to do for the past 2 years. We'll start our own business. And then we start to get into our head. And it's all of this what if, a lot of what if that just takes up space from doing. But all these what ifs, like, what if I fail? What if I lose money going into this? What if my family doesn't support me? All of this. And it's like, why? What if the business grows? What if you reach your first six figures? What if that career change brought you peace of mind, you know? But if you think staying in the same place, literally in the same place, is going to help you, it's not. It's not safer. It's not, it's comfortable, but it's not safer. Why? Because it's settling. And when you settle, that is still a form of failure. Whether you see it that way or not, you are hindering yourself from being able to grow because you're scared of what could go right. Not what could go wrong, what could go right. So we're going to go right into that. So let's talk about the flip side of things, fear of success. Sounds weird, doesn't it? A lot of us don't realize that we actually do have a fear of success. I am just realizing it at my big age of 30, and knowing this has changed so many things. So, when we look at fear of success, we are looking at so success means change, right? Higher responsibilities or more responsibilities, higher expectations. So, you start the business. Now the expectation is to keep the business running. How are we going to come out with the marketing? So on and so forth. Higher expectations for yourself because you've grown. You've shown that you can start this. Now it's time to finish it or keep it going, whatever the case may be. And also, sometimes that means leaving people behind. I will beat this into the floor, but cut off the people that are leeching onto you, that is affecting how you're growing. If for any reason you're around someone and it begins feeling like you're doubting yourself or doubting your potential, those people don't need to be around you. I'm not saying cut them off, but they can have their own section. You don't need to be around them when you're talking about your dreams and aspirations. There are levels to friends. We'll get into that in another video. So, yeah. All right, now let's get into the comparison culture that's going around. So, social media doesn't really help, right? You're going through Instagram, TikTok while it's still back, and it just feels like all these people are 10 to 20 steps ahead of you for whatever reason, right? And then in your brain, you're thinking, why bother? Like, I'm never going to hit that height of success. And there's your problem. Okay? You're literally comparing your behind the scenes to someone's highlight reel. And what I mean by that is you see your behind the scenes, right? You see all the struggles you face, the obligations that you have to make your content, make your business grow, and the sacrifices that you're making for your family. You don't see that online. They're not going to be broadcasting their doubts or the issues or how many no's that they got going through all of this. But what I'm saying is that you're behind the scenes. You are going through all the motions there is to get to the top. And there are people that are already at the top. And quite honestly, you could read a book behind their life and it still wouldn't feel fair. You still would feel like you're behind because then you would say, well, how did they have the mental fortitude? How did they have the strength? You have it in you. And as Lotto say,
it's in you, not on you.
Okay? Preach. And just to be fair, your journey is not going to look like everybody. Your journey is not going to look like everybody else's. Literally. You have a different way of doing things. You were brought up different. You may have had different parents in the household, as far as having one mom, one dad, vice versa, whatever. It's certain things in your journey that makes it unique to you, and your community is going to resonate with you. So just get out there. There's billions of people on this freaking planet. You're going to have a little corner of your own people. So get out there and meet your corner of community. Okay. Okay. So point 3 is exhaustion and burnout. We've all been there. This hits hard for me too. So hear me when I say this, okay? You already thought your 20s was crazy, right? And by 30, you're just running on fucking fumes. I'm talking about you have been working nonstop on your career, on your relationships, on, college, or maybe you're even raising kids around this time, or you have a couple already. Honestly, you get tired, okay? At 30, we're a little tired and kind of spent out. So, sorry guys, I thought that was my phone going off. My thing is, when someone says, oh, go for more, go after more of what you want, it already feels impossible and overwhelming because we're already stretched so thin. We are trying to be the best at everything, juggle all these things, and trying to add in starting a business, try to add in a career change where you might have to learn a completely different position or sector is insane. Like, it feels like a lot, But honestly, the thing that I can tell you that I've learned, and why, yes, I do still get exhausted doing all of this, but I still wake up every day wanting it, is because our exhaustion isn't really coming from doing too much. It's coming from doing too much of what we don't want to do. Things that don't light you up, things that don't fill your cup, that becomes an issue. So you need to make sure you prioritize time. Like, literally understand like what your body wants, what your needs are. You have to carve out that time. I'm not going to say that there's not a way to do it, but if you can find time to scroll on TikTok for 2 hours, you could have done some self-care for yourself, or got out there and filled up your own cup.
I said what I said.
Because doom scrolling is not doing anything but shortening your attention span, and also making you feel like you have to compare yourself to every single person. And we don't want to do that. We don't. So start focusing more of what lights you up, what burns a fire or like a passion inside of you that is like, you know what? Even if I'm exhausted from this 8-hour shift, I love to come home and do this, and do it. Sounds simple enough? I know it's hard, but you have time. You have time. Now, after even going through all that, there's guilt. It is a thing that us women always feel when we're trying to do something more than what we're already doing. We've kind of been conditioned in a way to think it's selfish to want to do more. It's like, I want to do this, but it's going to take away from my family. It's going to take away from my friends. And that's not fair at all to you or to anyone who does this, for that matter. But let me say this loud and clear. You cannot pour from an empty cup. When you take care of yourself, when you chase your dreams, you show up to people as a better version of yourself. No, it's not selfish to want more, but it's honestly necessary. And it's something that you need to get on, because I am. It's okay to want more. You're not ungrateful. You're not selfish. You're a woman with so much potential, okay? So much fucking potential. And you owe it to yourself to explore it. the only question I have for you is, what's going to be your first step? So leave that in the comments. Let me know. And tell me one thing you're going to do to start desiring more. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.